there must come that which is the water. In other words, you must elevate yourself to the second stage of consciousness. That's what baptism is. It has nothing to do with real water. It has to do with the identification, the symbol that's used to identify the second stage of consciousness. You must raise your consciousness, and the only way you can do that, there is no other way you can do it in the world, is through meditation. You start to rise into that which is the truth of what was taught to you by Jesus, what was taught to you by Buddha, what was taught to you by Krishna. You must rise into the second stage of consciousness. When you do, you're baptized. When you rise into that second stage of consciousness, you're baptized. There must be water. There must be a flood inside of you, and it must cleanse away all of the confusion, the interrelationships that you've had with the world, with the systems, and so forth and so on. All of these things have to be purged away. And it only can be purged away by water. So when you take your mind, you enter into the water, which is meditation, you will then find that as you rise out of the second stage of consciousness, you will rise up into the third stage of consciousness, which is air, which frees you from thought. In that third stage of consciousness, there is no thought. And let me tell you something. This is a scientific principle. Here, at this point of the earth, the mind is in what is called beta, about 26 cycles per second. Okay? As you energize and start to move upward into the second stage of consciousness, your mind starts to move into that area called alpha, which is about 14 cycles per second. When then you rise further up past the air into that which is the fire, you go into that which is called theta, which is approximately 8 cycles per second, and then you reach that which is called delta, and you are at about 4 cycles per second. 4, 8, 14, 26, something. This is a normal thing here, and the normal thing has to be changed. In other words, what all of this gobbledygook in the Bible is about is that you've got to reduce the number of cycles per second in your brain from 26 down to at least 14. If you don't do that, you're not going anywhere. As long as you're at 26, you're going to be steeped in chaos, confusion, fighting, screaming, turmoil. Kids are going to be against you. You're going to be against kids. People are going to bomb one another, shoot one another, kill one another, because it comes out of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which pulsates at 26 cycles per second. Doesn't make any difference what you do. Doesn't make any difference how many books you read. Doesn't make any difference how good you think you are, how many times you go to church. If that's at 26 cycles per second, you're a nut, I'm a nut, and you're going to be in chaos constantly. So you can talk all of these words, you can talk baptism, you can talk confirmation, you can talk communion, you can talk all of these things. If you're at 26 cycles per second, you're in chaos. It can't be anything, because what's happening, you're getting a lot of good stuff piled in with a lot of bad stuff, and it's confusion. When you get into, you know how you get down into alpha? Listening to a symphony, listening to some quiet music.